welcome to Guernsey. Welcome everyone to St Peter Port, the capital and largest town here in Guernsey. Let's go and explore this beautiful harbour town, Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. So I'm just strolling in the harbour area at the moment. There's a few things here that I've already observed. Got a statue there of Albert, Prince Consort, there on a roundabout. Lots of beautiful flowers in town. An interesting church. And some interesting buildings as well here along the harbour front. And, wait for this, another castle. So all different things to explore. Let's walk around the harbour area for a bit first and see what we can find.
Hi.
Wingle? No. I can immediately feel as well the pace of life here in Guernsey is very slow. St Peter Port. This is a Saturday and yeah, there are a lot of cars on the road, but very relaxing vibe. Another first impression is that there are lots of flower beds and plants all across town, all around town. Gives a really nice green edge to the town. An empty beer can in a flower bed. That could be a good title for a novel, but I bet there's a pretty good story behind someone's experience there. And again, just a great view here of St Peter Port. And over here as well, on the other side, there's another view here. And looks to be reasonably low tide. A few boats around. I reckon let's go check out the castle, see how far we can get there. If we can actually get to it. Might be an interesting walk. Several yachts, boats over there. So your first impressions of Guernsey, very much slow-paced life here. It's a smaller island than Jersey, believe it or not. But the wider bailiwick of Guernsey also includes the islands of Alderney, Sark, Little Sark and also Herm. So there's a few more islands as part of a wider bailiwick. Guernsey only has about 63 or 65,000 people, not exactly sure of the exact number. Again, different sources on the internet state different numbers, but there's only about sort of 19 or 20,000 people, maybe even less than 19,000, that live here in St Peter Port. So it's a very small town. There's no entrance to the castle from this side. Have to maybe go all the way around there to get there, but let's go check it out. Hello guys. It's amazing sometimes the looks you get as a YouTuber. Some people look like they've never seen one before, or they just checking out what the heck are you doing. Others are very happy to see the camera, so it's quite interesting sometimes just watching people's reactions, or do a bit of people watching while you vlog. Oh, thanks mate, thank you. Cheers. Some more flower beds here, and the French name for St Peter Port is St Pierre Port. Some directions here for later. So you got Castle Cornet, about a 15-minute walk. You got Victor Hugo House, 20 minutes, and then you got other attractions, whatever they are, in that direction. Let's continue our walk to the castle. So yeah, lots of traffic as well here in Guernsey, here in St Peter Port. Maybe not as much as in Jersey, in St Helier, but maybe that's partly due to the fact that there are less people in St Peter Port, between 18 and 20,000 people, compared to about sort of a 35,000 people or more in St Helier. But nonetheless, people do seem to love their cars in the Channel Islands. I also love buses, and I think the buses, my understanding is that there's an initiative in the Channel Islands to encourage people to use public transport a bit more, to get the cars off the road. And of course, as in Jersey and St Helier, there are a few boats around. So the plan is to continue walking here, and hopefully eventually we'll get to the castle there. Castle Cornet. Just look how colourful that is. And over there as well. We've got a slaughterhouse. Interesting name for a restaurant. Makes you think what they slaughter. And just a view from the town from another side of the harbour, because all the views look different, don't they, from different angles. And there you can see various church towers as well as part of this townscape. I almost said cityscape. Oh wow. So this is the other side of the harbour, and a beautiful beach and a really rugged feel to this part of a coastline here. A bit of peace and tranquility right next to the hustle and bustle of St Peter Port. And this looks like a really nice relaxing walk as well. And in one of my Jersey vlogs I talked about the significance of knitting and explained the knitting pattern of jerseys from which you could identify sailors and fishermen who drowned back in the day. But a Guernsey is also a type of garment, a type of sweater, and the players of an Australian rules football side, they wear Guernseys. That's what their jumpers are called, compared to other sports that call them jerseys, like football jerseys or rugby jerseys. But Aussie rules football probably wants to be different and may just call them Guernseys. So there you go. Right, here's a magic entrance to another part of a walkway that leads to the castle. So we'll get there eventually. Right, will we actually get there? That's the question, because I've got a feeling down there we might struggle. Here's some information about a famous soldier killed in battle, Flight Lieutenant John Walton Saville, Canadian soldier. And the other thing pointed out here is obviously a small map of Guernsey, the main island, just to orientate ourselves. So we are there next to Castle Cornet. My fears weren't justified. There is a walkway down here towards the castle. It probably won't be open, of course it's not tourist season, but I reckon just walking around there will have a great experience nonetheless. Yeah, this is the other thing someone actually told me to watch out for when I'm in Guernsey. So the number plates of cars are black and they've only got numbers on them, and the numbers are also, you know, white grey ish color. But apparently, well, having said that, here's one with a white background. So, and I was also told that the specific number on your number plate can also be worth a bit of money. I'm not exactly sure how they calculate the value of a number plate, so if a local can let us know, that would be great. Oh yeah, here we go. Seaweed or kelp, which was a familiar sight we saw in Jersey and also here in Guernsey. And a castle we also had in Jersey, but Guernsey has its own one here in St Peter Port. Ah, there's a big black door that is shut by the looks of it. Got the information here. Castle Cornet. So let's have a bit of a read. The first castle was built by the English in the 13th century to control St Peter Port harbour. This is also interesting. A huge explosion demolished the heart of a medieval castle and its donjon in 1672. That's a beautiful aerial shot, obviously in summer or on a sunny day, showing off the beauty. But there you can see some of the gardens, presumably, that they talk about, the 4 historic gardens inside there. More green spaces in Guernsey. Let's have a look here. I've got a feeling there's no one here. Yeah, completely shut, unfortunately. But I need to stay out of trouble because I don't want to be chucked in here. This looks to have been a little bit of a dungeon, so need to behave myself here in St Peter Port. Castles such as these had a prominent role to play in the defence of the Channel Islands. And I don't know if you can see it, but there are still cannons on display there as well, trying to protect the island from any enemy that would want to come and invade it. I wonder what it feels like for you at home watching this video, because the peace and tranquility I'm experiencing now is off the charts. It really is so peaceful and quiet. You can hear the boats in the harbour, you can hear a little bit of the traffic, but you can hear the water in the harbour as well, and it's just so lovely. What is it about castles and harbours that just makes you want to relax and take in your surroundings and appreciate where you are? Absolutely loving this walk. Maybe it's also because I grew up in fishing towns in South Africa, and I've got a special place in my heart for them, and I am starting to really like St Peter Port. I really like the feel of it. I like the pace of it, the slow pace, and just the character again with the various churches and towers that you can see there in the background, and of course this magnificent castle over here. And seems to be a lighthouse over there that they are repairing. Maybe there's an opportunity for us to walk around here. I wonder if we're allowed, if it's possible. Let's have a look. But a deja vu, guys. As in Jersey, I found a piece of brick that also reminds me of my hometown in South Africa. What are the odds of finding one of these on similar trips? Probably pretty high, to be honest, because bricks were used in construction and stuff, but I'd like to think it's a special deja vu moment. This is also a bit of a deja vu, is trying to negotiate my movements here over the rocks, but I don't think there's any secret church we'll find down there. Might as well just walk back, so maybe a little bit disappointing, but to be honest, I didn't expect anything more. This was just taking a chance. Hope you're not too disappointed at home. Right guys, I reckon why don't we go back into the town centre and go and check out a little bit more of St Peter Port. Let's go. There's a Guernsey Yacht Club and some people having a chat or a drink or a coffee. And over here as well, some stuff to eat. Oh yeah, I want to try some local food, but what is anything you'd recommend?
Probably the gosh.
Yeah, can I try the gosh please? Yeah, thank you very much.
Do you want to take away or stay here?
I'll just stay here actually, because is it alright if I just test it and do a bit of filming and things? Alright, yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to try some of the Guernsey gosh here in the harbour. Let's see what it tastes like. I have to say these ice creams look pretty good as well. Oh, brilliant, thank you very much.
Be £2 then.
Yeah. Card all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Is it butter and is it raisins part of it? Let's see. See what it tastes like. Don't want to lose my serviette. Tastes really nice. I can taste the raisins. Very nice and sweet. And just the right amount of butter, so yeah, really enjoy it. Out of the blue boat charters. And it surprises me that you can actually go and see the puffins, like in Iceland. So I wonder how many puffins there are in Guernsey, or in the Guernsey area, compared to Iceland. That might actually be a very interesting comparison. Slightly different climates, of course. Here, just back on the number plate issue. There are black ones. We saw a white one earlier, but there's a yellow one as well. So maybe they're not all black, as I was told. I'll actually tell you a little bit of a story from my childhood. As a kid, I had this little notebook, and I would write down all the number plates of all the cars in town, in Lambert's Bay in it. And whenever a new car from outside of town would park at, say, the Lambert's Bay Hotel or somewhere else in town, I'd rush over to the hotel and I would go and write down the number plate. So I do have a bit of a fascination with him, and I'm not a little kid anymore, but I definitely still want to find out the story behind the number plates here in Guernsey. On this side of the harbour we got some more information, more history here about Guernsey and the German occupation as well as the liberation. A stone commemorating the 40th anniversary of that liberation. And right next to the stone here I've actually noticed Liberation quality drinks, a reminder of the events that unfolded in 1945, and a few familiar high street names and some more beautiful flowers. So what will I remember of Guernsey based on a very brief exploration? Absolutely the flowers, of course. There also looks to be some really nice restaurants, and there's another view of a castle and more pubs and restaurants. It's crossing the road. Ah, are they seats, these? Looks like it. And they got various names or surnames written on it, or companies presumably that are associated with these chairs in some way. And yeah, here's a sign that says island hopping in the islands of Guernsey. You can see a great launch pad from which to visit the sister islands. Okay, so I knew about Sark, Herm and Alderney. I didn't know about Lihu, so yeah, you learn something every day, don't you? And I do like all these information boards around the city as well. They all say welcome to St Peter Port, so they very friendly, welcoming us to the main town. The Liberation statue, family back together. Is that boy eating a chocolate or something? Candy bar? Yep, there you go, the boy eating a bar of chocolate representing that first taste of freedom. The beauty box, although that looks pretty shut. And some more green spaces, and looks to be a little park. I'm going to say it again, because it needs to be said. Guernsey, you are the island of flowers. Do you want to see the best bit about the park? Over here is this anti-discrimination ballot that's going on here. It's a ballot bin for cigarette butts that you can go and put in here. And the question is, does Guernsey's anti-discrimination law go far enough? And judging by the amount of cigarette butts, the no camp is in the lead. But what an absolutely fantastic initiative to try and get cigarette butts off the street. There's a few there that didn't make it in the ballot, or some spoiled ballots. But I think this is fantastic. And we've got a patch of sunshine. This is a good motto. You miss 100% of your shots you never take. And how interesting is this? A roundabout, beautiful flowers, and a mast of a ship. Definitely a lot more boats on this side of the harbour. A few toys for the rich and famous here in Guernsey. Here we have a statue of a famous French writer, if not the most famous French writer of all time, Victor Hugo. So basically he wasn't a fan of Napoleon III of France, so he spent much of his life in exile. He first went to Brussels, then he went to Jersey, and finally he came to Guernsey in October 1855. And I believe he was very much in love with Guernsey, and Guernsey in return loves him back, and they've honoured him here with a statue. Guys, I'm just back at the hotel quickly for a bit of a breather, and I just wanted to show you my room here. So I've got a single room, quite a big single room actually, and I've got a TV in the corner there, tea and coffee station, and over here I've actually got quite a big bathroom. You can see here, so I've got a mirror over there. Hello everyone. Wash basin, the loo, and a nice big shower. I paid £56 for the single room, which is maybe at the pricier end of what I would usually pay for accommodation on my travels, but this was one of the cheaper options when I searched online. And I do think this is actually really good value for money. And I'm just here at the hotel reception, and I borrowed a pound note here just to show you what it looks like. So Guernsey does have a pound note. Jersey's got one as well, and I didn't see one there, but you can see the pound note of Guernsey. You definitely don't get one of these in the UK. The front here you've got the bailiff of Guernsey from 1762 to 1842. Very interesting feature of the Crown dependencies is the pound notes that you'll get. And here in the hotel reception there's also a map of Guernsey, but I'm taking it at an angle because of the lighting. It's a very small island. It's less than 25 square miles, so even smaller than Jersey, the island of Guernsey. And we are in St Peter Port on that side of the island. I quite like this church over here. I think it's called St James Church, and just on the other side of the road you got the beautiful Elizabeth College as well. Really nice buildings. Smith Street and the surrounding area, and just opposite here there's a beautiful garden called St Paul's Garden. This garden is provided for quiet enjoyment. So I might need to keep my voice down here, but just to give you a bit of an idea of what it looks like here. Absolutely beautiful and peaceful. Lots of green spaces here in St Peter Port. Here we're passing a building called Prince of Wales. Looks like a restaurant. Another restaurant over there. In fact, someone carrying over drinks, so maybe part of the same one. Yeah, Prince of Wales Gardens. And there you see the flag of Guernsey next to the Union Jack. There you can see the flag from up closer. Oh, very colourful bohemian shop here.
Yes.
Antique shops and jewellery shops. Look at that. Some collectors might find this very interesting. More UK high street shops, or shops that you'll find in the UK rather. Let me know what you think of St Peter Port. I really enjoy it so far. Yeah, look at that. There you can see High Street La Grande Rue. And I have to say, I've never seen a design of street sign like that anywhere else in the world, and the font, it's very distinct. Might be a Guernsey thing. And the other thing here, so Isaac Brock, who saved Canada for the Empire, lived here. So if you're Canadian, you might be very interested in that. A bit of history here in Guernsey. And some more war heroes commemorated here. Roll of Honour. Yeah, the high street here is actually quite short. I really like it. It's got a really quaint feel to it. Check this out here at the Harbour Street. You can just walk down to the harbour. So you've got the north here steps here, and that eventually takes you to the harbour. Got Guernsey's oldest restaurant here, and you've got the Nom Nom Food Bar, and a view of a beautiful St Peter Port. Right, let's get off the high street, and here's another street with some lights. And we've got jewellery shops and watch shops. Check out this shop here, Soulmates. Various shoes. Again, lots of English and French shop names as well. So obviously a lot of French history and English history in this Channel Island as well, as was the case in Jersey. Bailiwick Botanicals. All right. That's a very interesting building as well. Health Connections. Back at this church here on the other side, and you've got this interesting building here as well. And in this interesting building here, they've got a clothing shop, and you've got nice seating areas here outside. Really nice relaxing vibe. So I hope I'm right in saying this is a donkey, and the reason why that is significant is people from Jersey call people from Guernsey donkeys, and the people from Guernsey call people from Jersey toads. In my silent walking tour of St Helier, you would have seen the statue of a toad, and here in St Peter Port you got the statue of a donkey. Arcade that seemed to have been opened in 1830, and some luxury shops and high street brands here. This building 1822, which is now a new look. So the old and new coming together, old buildings, new shops. Let's go check out the Inner Street Arcade. Celebrating 200 years of the market buildings. Right. Let's have a look. Oh, interesting. Indoor coffee shop. And some more shops here. Beautiful indoor space here. Few more coffee shops upstairs, so let's see what's upstairs. Right. As expected, there's a nice view here of a square from above. Imagine working in one of these shops such as this hair salon, taking a break, having a smoke or a coffee with your view here. Very nice. Here in St Peter Port you've still got this mural here related to the pandemic, Guernsey Together 2020. Yeah, we got this. It's so easy to forget, but the pandemic was just the other day. Unbelievable. Amazing to be free again. So right here we're in an area called the Old Quarter, and some more shops and stuff for us to explore here, although it looks pretty quiet. Interesting art gallery here.
Wait, listen. Let's put our focus on other fun stuff to do. You've just fallen out of
Shop called The Edge.
What you found one little big toy?
Yeah, a little bit.
And here are the famous Guernsey blue post boxes. They are blue in Guernsey, except for one, which I believe is the oldest continuous post box in the world, which I'm trying to find. And I hope I stumble across it at some point, because some of the locals don't know where it is. I've asked around and they just told me everyone is blue. They don't know of the one that's still red. Everything is pretty shut here. Just look at all the beautiful colours. There is one guy open here. Hello, sir. Yeah, I've noticed there are loads of shops and buildings that are closed, that are unoccupied. Both in Guernsey and also in Jersey. And I wonder if it's got something to do with tough economic times. And there's an ominous message. I'm crying now, but just opposite it. What a nice message here. We are all wonderful, beautiful wrecks. That is what connects us. That we are all beautifully broken, imperfect. Keep on keeping on. And yeah, there may be a lack of activity, but I do love colourful buildings, as you would know by now. I do have a soft spot for them. And looks like we are properly off the beaten track here in St Peter Port during the Old Quarter. A few antique shops around. There's a coffee shop, or a soup shop rather. We have soup and coffee. This reminds me a bit of lanes in Brighton, not the scaffolding but the shops and the type of shops here. So hello sir, how are you? So you got something different. You got really nice boutique shops, a few eccentric ones around as well, lots of tattoo studios around as well, and art shops, design shops. Another old building that is now a cooperative local. They've got southern fried chicken only. So what if I want northern fried chicken? If you wanted to study late and educate yourself, St Peter Port is a place to be. And lots of hairdressers, so lots of tattoo studios, lots of hairdressers, lots of antique shops, luxury shops, empty shops, something for everyone. Nice chess set there. It will set you back more than £2,000. Ah, here's a bit of South Africa with that bank, which is a very prominent bank in South Africa. There's another flag of Guernsey. And offshore legal firm by the looks of it. So yeah, lots of government and finance buildings around here. Bad habits. Who's the baddest of them all? Not me. I've not been making trouble today, have I? I'm just walking around. Taste of Dakar. Yeah, I've seen lots of restaurants selling foods from around the world here in St Peter Port, so clearly a very cosmopolitan place as well. So a bit off the beaten track for sure, here in Haviland Street. But I found the red post box, the oldest continuous post box in the world. Over here, look at that. And it's the only red one in Guernsey. All the other ones are painted blue, but they kept the red color on this one. There is a plaque saying the Victorian pillar box. The British Post Office installed its earliest roadside posting boxes in the Channel Islands in 1852 free. This box is the oldest survivor still in daily use in the British Isles. It has been restored to what is believed to be the original livery of that era. Guernsey wasn't the first place to use the post box, but every other post box on the planet apparently has been replaced or removed at some point in history. So some claim that this is the oldest post box still in use. Absolutely amazing. And for those who want to visit Guernsey, if you get lost and can't find the post box, it is here on Union Street. So what do I think about St Peter Port? I absolutely love it. But then again, I'm biased because I grew up in fishing towns in South Africa. But there is just something about a fishing harbour, especially if it's got a beautiful castle at the back. And I really enjoyed the vibe, the relaxing vibe in the high street as well. A very small high street actually, but also then very interesting shops and a real mix of old and new architecture. I definitely think it's worth a visit, guys. And there you can see the ferry approaching. So presumably the ferry came from one of the islands over there. But you can also travel by ferry from the UK to Guernsey, and the other option of course is to fly, which is what I did. In my experience it was cheaper to travel to Jersey than Guernsey, but maybe that was just the way that the bookings worked. Let me know if you've traveled to both Jersey and Guernsey, how you did it and which was the cheaper one. And I love traveling by plane, but I also love traveling by ferry, so maybe next time I can take the ferry to the Channel Islands. Yeah guys, this is also where I'll end my vlog. I hope you enjoyed this tour of St Peter Port here in Guernsey. Beautiful St Peter Port. I will certainly remember it and have fond memories. If you haven't done it yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. And thank you again for watching all my vlogs and joining me on these explorations and adventures in other parts of the world. That's it for now, guys. I'll see you again soon. And the no vote winning this ballot box as well.